They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Way downtown.
Bang! Bang! What's this gonna be? Wow! Are you kidding me?
Hello and welcome to the Game Theory Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Vecenie. But if you watch the tape, what you will see completely orchestrated this game. You know, I was planning on having a nice day today. I said last night on Post Game Theory, I wasn't planning on going live today. Wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to happen. I went and hit golf balls this morning. That's why I'm wearing like a neon green shirt right now. I was having a really nice day. I was planning on coming home, watching some Jeremiah Fears at Oklahoma, watching Jaeger Demon's disastrous game against Providence last night that a bunch of NBA scouts have told me about. It's going to catch up on college today. And then I see what happens in the Lakers game. I see what's going on. I see, hey, they've given up over 100 points in the third quarter already. Let's maybe see what happened here. Let's maybe dive into this a little bit and talk through what happened. Because this was a catastrophic defensive performance. This was about as bad as I have seen a team defend this year, I think. And I've watched Jazz games. I've watched Wizards games. Like I've watched a number of teams that are not good defensively play. And this one was as bad as I have seen. So we're going to talk through it. We're going to dive in. Neb's not wrong. I've watched a few Bulls games. The Bulls have had a few comparable performances to the Lakers tonight. They've had a couple. But I think what's infuriating about this from the Lakers is, yes, they are deficient in terms of their defensive capabilities. D'Angelo Russell is not a good defender. Dalton Knecht is a really bad defender, I would say. Rui is not a good defender. And LeBron, frankly, at this point in his career, is about to turn 40 years old, and he has not been a particularly high energy, high effort defender over the course of the last few years. But also, like, Anthony Davis hasn't been awesome this year on defense. Coming into this game, the Lakers were truly really bad on defense. They're 24th in the league, a 117.1 defensive rating. Nothing, I can't say that anything that happened in this game is particularly new. There have been a lot of communication issues the whole year. There's been a lot of just catastrophic breakdown in transition the entire season. It's not a new vibe that this is what's happening with the Lakers, but tonight was the most egregious version of it. So if you didn't watch the Lakers game, the Lakers lose 134-93. They gave up 105 points in the first three quarters, 34 in the first, 35 in the second, 36 in the third. I thought the third quarter was just breakdown city. Particularly egregious stuff. We got 13 minutes of Armel Traore tonight just to get some energy in the mix for the Lakers. It was just egregious. There's not really another way to put it. So the Heat in this game, they go 24 for 47. That seems like an aberrant shooting performance from three. It wasn't. Honestly, I thought it could have been worse. They missed a lot of open threes. They made some contested ones too, but they missed quite a few open threes in this game. Just looking through on the ESPN site, right, in terms of points off of turnovers, Miami had 22. Fast break points, they had 24, but I would almost guarantee you that if we look at that on synergy where they really incorporate kind of everything in terms of like really early offense and like some semi-transition stuff, that those numbers are probably a bit worse. I'll look maybe while we're going, but it was truly just such a breakdown city that I can't remember anything quite as bad as this from a team that is this veteran. So I guess let's start here. One of the Lakers beat writers after the game asked JJ Redick, what do you make of this performance, basically? And I cut out the 12-second pause that JJ has with a deep sigh where he's trying to figure out what to say. He asks initially, do you mean, what do I say to the media or what do I say to the team? And then just like stops and thinks. And this is what he said here. Well, I'll just play.
I think when a group is not performing well, which happens, and it happens to bad teams, it happens to good teams, it happens to great teams, you can splinter, and it's easy to not want the ownership, particularly when it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. We're all embarrassed. It's not a game that I thought we had the right fight, the right professionalism. Not sure what was lost in translation. There has to be some ownership on the court, and I'll take all the ownership in the world. This is my team, and I lead it, and I'm embarrassed, but I can't physically get us organized. I can't physically be into the basketball. I can't physically talk and call out reds and physically call out coverages, and it's, I'm not, and by the way, I'm not blaming players. That's not, I own this. I own this, but gonna need some ownership on the court as well. There's not a sense from me that we're together right now, and that's what we say in the huddle. It doesn't feel that way. Doesn't feel that way. And again, we're in a tough stretch, and we're all trying to find it.
So, couple of things there. I kind of respect him just calling out like, hey, we need some accountability on the court. We need better effort. We need better energy. I mean, we're at the point now where the Lakers are 22 games into the season, a quarter of the way through, and we're like calling out professionalism at that point. And I don't blame them for it. Like, we're going to dive into the tape here, and just like some of this is just true communication stuff. And we'll talk about like who to blame maybe after, like who is most to blame. It's kind of just everyone. I think you can blame the coaches. I think you can blame the stars. I think you can blame the role players. Like, it's all, when you have catastrophic breakdowns like the ones I'm going to show here, it's not one source. Now, like, I've talked a lot this year about how I think that LeBron in general, his defensive effort and energy hasn't been there. And I do think that when you have LeBron James, who is such a domineering force on a team, it does kind of have to start with him. JJ Redick said in his press conference that he and LeBron talked earlier in the day. People will point to Anthony Davis. I thought Anthony Davis was not very good defensively in this game, and say that, hey, you have a guy who complains about not having won a Defensive Player of the Year award at this point. He needs to be the one it starts with. Look, he needs to be better. I completely agree. But when you have LeBron James on your team, LeBron is just kind of automatically the leader of that team. Any team he's on. That's just who he is. It's the stature that he has in the league. And I get that he's about to turn 40 years old. I'm not saying that LeBron has to be the all defense guy he was when he was younger. I'm not even saying he has to be an above average defender at this point. I do think that he needs to just consistently make the right plays. So let's kind of dive in and talk through everything that we've seen here from the Lakers. That's the screen we want. There we go. Okay. Transition defense has been a problem for the Lakers the whole year. I think I've literally done a video on their transition defense. I mean, my question here is just put quite simply to start. Where is Rui going? Why is Rui sagging off of this shooter in this way? I know that it's D'Angelo Russell here, but he has LeBron coming behind, and LeBron's, one of the better chase down shot blockers in league history, right? I have no idea why Rui is coming over and over helping in this way. So you get the kick out. You can make the case that, hey, this is Haywood Highsmith. I'm sorry, not Harrison. Good Lord. Haywood Highsmith. Absolutely a defensive specialist, not a guy that you typically have to worry about too much offensively. But I still think that if you give a guy a wide open three, there's a decent shot that he's going to make that wide open three. It's just kind of the reality of the NBA. Haywood Highsmith made 4 of 5 from 3 tonight. He's not such a bad shooter that you can just leave him alone. Then we get the offensive rebound. Look, I mean, on some level, this is just an unlucky bounce. It's a long rebound, whatever. I would like to see Dalton Knecht get a body at a little bit of a better level here to stop the tip out. And then we just get the second super easy 3. And like I said, the Heat missed open threes in this game. They went 24 for 47 from 3. It could have been worse. It genuinely could have been worse. So here in transition again, it's just, where's the communication, right? Who's picking up who? So we'll stop here. Okay, is LeBron picking up the ball? Or is LeBron sagging back and taking Jimmy Butler on the fill in the lane here? Okay, cool. So now we've got LeBron here. Maybe. We've got Russell potentially here. We've got Dalton Knecht here. We've got Rui here. What's happening? Where is our 5th guy? Our 5th guy is Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is just hanging out back here. He's not moving. He's not running back in transition. He's standing there. End result, a wide open 3. This stuff can't happen. You can't sit back and complain to the refs. Teams are too good in transition now. So what do we get here? We get a zoom action. The Lakers were super switchy tonight in a way that I don't love. I don't think you can play a full scale 1 through 5 switching defense with D'Angelo Russell on the court and with Dalton Knecht on the court. It puts you in too many mismatch situations. Neither of them are good enough defensively to be able to handle mismatches. Also, I will just note here, like, Connect just gets kind of shoved off here by Duncan Robinson, and he's just trailing. Like, he is so far away here that this almost has to automatically be a peel switch onto Bam. So Connect on Bam here, and they go from that zoom action into just like a split action here, right? So we're going to get Bam on the block. Jimmy's going to kind of come this way, fake like he might screen, and then cut to the rim. And then we're going to get a wide open three for Duncan Robinson. So I understand why you're doubling here, but the double can't come from the guy who's guarding Jimmy fucking Butler. So because he's doubling, I understand why AD feels like he has to like kind of sink in here and at least be available. But he has no chance once Jimmy gets to a certain point here. And on top of it, he's not the best at closing out onto shooters to begin with. And he's guarding Duncan Robinson, who's one of the best shooters, I don't know, in the last 30 years of the NBA. I get why the double comes, but to me, it has to come from this side. It can't come from the same side in what's setting up to be a very obvious split action. When Haywood Highsmith is in the opposite corner. If your defensive game plan is going to be, hey, we're going to, kind of have AD on Haywood Highsmith, or we're going to have LeBron on Haywood Highsmith, typically, before switches. So the defense is too switchy. Look, in all honesty, if it was me, I understand doubling here. But I'm fine with this, in all honesty. If they want to go one-on-one, I know Dalton is not a great defender, but I'm just making Bam score over the top. Stay solid on your guys. That might not have been the game plan, though. Like, it might have been the game plan, hey, if we get in a switch situation where Dalton gets stuck on the block, we got to come over and help. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not going to speak to that. Me personally, it's not what I would do. So just early kind of DHO look here. Look who's open again. Haywood Highsmith, this time though in a breakdown, not in a planned let's leave him open situation. So Haywood Highsmith starts this play. And by the way, shout out to Haywood Highsmith. Like, unbelievable story that this guy is in the NBA. He's done an incredible job working incredibly hard to earn his career. So when I say, like, hey, if you want to leave him open, I kind of get it. Haywood Highsmith's an awesome defender. He made 4 for 5 from 3 tonight. He is a really useful NBA player at this point, and he's earned every single second of his career. He's going to start in the corner here with Rui on him. What happens here is you get this kind of empty side DHO with Bam and Tyler Hero. Because AD has to kind of continue to shield here, LeBron feels like he has to come and help the helper. Because in theory, AD is the helper here. Russell is the man guarding Tyler Hero. Really, what I would like to see in general here is just them peel. say, okay, AD, you're on hero. D'Angelo Russell, you peel off onto Bam. Just make sure that he doesn't just get in between him and the ball, right? LeBron feels like he has to help, though. So that means as Rui starts to follow Highsmith, who's all the way over here now, he sees that LeBron is helping the helper. He is kind of making sure that he's available here to help out in case something goes wrong. So now LeBron has sunk back onto Bam. Connect is still here. Rui is here. One of these two, Russell and AD, has to find Highsmith. And realistically, what I would like it to be is LeBron to realize Highsmith is out there, AD get over to LeBron and rotate that way. Instead, no one closes out. No one really makes the effort. It's a total defensive breakdown in terms of communication between, really on some level, all four of these guys. And no one closes out. It's tough. It's real tough. This one, the early portion of this action is important to see. You get this auto switch here between Christie and Vincent. You can see LeBron kind of say something to Christie as he starts following Rozier through, saying, hey, go help in case Gabe gets beat here. And you can rotate around. When you have four guys same side here, you should be able to make this work in terms of closing out, and you should be able to give yourself enough time to recover back. So Christie is here. Haywood Highsmith cuts here. But again, if we're having Christie be all the way over here to help, after Jimmy Butler has picked up the ball, why is AD coming here? Why is AD sending this late double? Because of this late double, Connect is now 1-on-2, where he has to be responsible for both of these guys. Really, what you'd like to see is Connect just close out. If they swing it, LeBron closes this way, Christie closes there, AD goes back, right? But instead, Dalton just stays home on his man for reasons kind of beyond my comprehension. Wide open three, misses. Oh, wait, we're going to get the ball back. That one was cash. It's not good enough communication-wise. The communication is the big word that's going to keep coming up here as we go through this. The communication for the Lakers is just not good enough. There's no other way to really phrase it. This one, it just feels like the Lakers are a little bit disconnected in terms of how they're going to handle this action. So Rozier runs through. Bam goes to set a screen. Duncan's going to come up and take this curl. Koloko decides to stay with Bam. Cam Reddish is trailing here because he got screened. Gabe Vincent, nowhere to be seen. And he's the low man, right? Like, it makes sense that he's not anywhere to be seen. It's good offensive architecture from Miami. Also, though, like, I don't know. I would like to see Koloko like have a reaction here on some level. Don't just like stay on Bam. Make a rotation. Somebody rotate. Anybody? It's just a parade to the rim. Point of attack defense isn't good enough. Nothing about this is really good enough. This one. Zoom action again. Rozier screen. Bam, DHO for Duncan Robinson to get downhill. Dalton's chasing. We've got Cam Reddish helping in at the elbow just to try and dissuade anything. LeBron here on the weak side is just standing flat-footed. While we get a Jovic cut back door. I mean, me personally, if you're going to help there, I think LeBron has to close out and Reddish has to peel to Bam Adebayo. Different teams do it different ways. Some teams do like the little, kind of like what Cam Reddish did here, elbow stunt into closeout. But the problem is that you run the risk that Jaime Jaquez is going to do exactly what he does here, which is relocate. He goes from the wing all the way down to here, and that becomes an exceptionally hard closeout, which is why, to me, it probably has to be a LeBron closeout to have a chance there. But regardless, the main issue, in my opinion, is Connect allowing the paint touch. This one, I just have no idea what Connect or Koloko are doing. If that's a new strategy to defend on the ball in ball screens, I don't know that I've heard of it. Connect just kind of runs up over the top of this one. Bam leaves early. Koloko's here, which is good. But Connect is just, he like stops. He stops moving, stops running. And just lets Robinson continue to attack Koloko. Cam Reddish at least tries to get a body on Bam. But Koloko here is just kind of in no man's land because he's let Bam get behind him. But mostly why he's let Bam get behind him is because Connect just like doesn't do anything. This can't be the ball. This can't be the DHO screen defense. And Koloko can't let Bam get behind him either. But I understand why he feels like he has to engage with the guy that has elite touch coming off of a DHO. So here, reject DHO, swing, and now Jimmy's just going to get into the paint. Why he gets into the paint here? Honestly, it's pretty good defensive possession. As you can see, they're kind of switching everything. Russell ends up on Love. They switch Reddish here. And Jimmy just catches running toward the ball. And Christie gives up the easy paint touch here. In my opinion, you just kind of can't get beat like that. That forces AD to feel like he has to help over at the rim. And be here. I'd probably like him to be over here, but I understand why he's there. Again, they're kind of helping off of Highsmith. That was kind of the idea here. Have AD on Highsmith. Let him be a help defender. But to me, you can't give up the easy paint touch at the start. Their point of attack defense has been a real problem the whole year. Reeves hasn't had a great defensive year. Russell, I think, has been pretty bad defensively. Gabe Vincent gives effort. He's just small. So it's a struggle for him. It's part of the reason they have Reddish on the court. So screen, empty side action. This is one that just like, I can't fathom that was anything remotely close to being in the game plan. So this is basically like a 4-5 ball screen switch, right? Rui goes from being on Jimmy Butler to on Kevin Love. Rui is 6'9", 230 pounds, 235 pounds. If Rui can't guard him one-on-one on the block, if Rui can't guard, 35-year-old, 36-year-old Kevin Love, and you have to send a double in that situation, we might as well just like pack up shop here if you're the Lakers. But I can't imagine that was the plan. This is a AD mistake. There's no reason to double here. If Kevin Love shoots over the top of Rui for a contested 2, that's a shot we're comfortable with. Switch again. Now we've got Russell on Butler. Switch here. Reddish onto Hero. Russell on Jimmy. Russell doesn't really try to fight to get back in front of Jimmy there. He just kind of stays on his side and lets himself get sealed high. That forces Christie over in help. Reddish is just walking toward the ball for some reason, when Hero should be his guy. Like, I just don't know what Reddish is doing here. There's just zero attention to detail with like any of these guys right now. Why is Cam Reddish walking this way toward the ball? He's not doing anything to dissuade the cut. So like, that's not the answer. Hero, wide open 3. This is a fun one. This is just kind of a good set, in my opinion. This is just like a simple, double drag-ish kind of set. Screen here for Hero to make choices. Bam kind of early exits and forces the tag here from Max Christie. But my question is here. Okay, how are we defending this, right? To me, based off of the way it seems like AD is going and the way it seems like LeBron is going, it feels like we are probably guard to guard switching this. Where we're going AD out here onto Hero, or not guard to guard, I guess. We're switching this with LeBron going on to Bam. AD here. Rui probably on to Jimmy is my theory based off of the way that they play this. But to me, now in my opinion, on how they defend this, it feels like both LeBron and Rui go toward Adebayo here, which says to me that they're not sure who exactly is guarding who, because Rui is definitely not going to the corner, man. Haywood Highsmith again. He has to kind of double back and get to Highsmith. So my read on who screws this up, it's got to be one of LeBron or Rui, depending on what they're trying to do. And that's just communicative again. You have to communicate through that. You have to talk through what your plan is. Easy 3. So we get the switch again. Now we've got AD on Jimmy. And look, here's the deal. If you are going to run this defense where you're going to soft switch, okay, I understand it. I don't love it, but I understand it. AD has to be able to hold up here. There's just kind of not an excuse. He can't get beat in a straight line toward the rim. I get that it's Jimmy Butler. Sometimes superstars just make plays against other superstars. He can't get beat in a straight line to the rim if he's an all defense guy that's supposed to hold up this defense on his shoulders. It can't happen. And oh, by the way, we haven't even gotten to the third quarter yet. That's where this is starting, and that's where it really goes off the rails, guys. So we're in transition, and nobody picks up Jimmy Butler in transition. Even though we have numbers to get back. Like AD is here. Connect is here. It seems like Russell is trying to take the ball. Got a man here. LeBron's going down to the corner. We have the numbers to pick these guys up in transition here. Nobody's complaining behind the play. To me, this is Dalton Connect. Connect just really, look, it's a team-based communication issue. I shouldn't just blame Connect. To me, it is probably Connect that has to pick up Jimmy in transition here. But to me, you have to communicate. You have to talk through this. Say, AD say, hey, I've got trailer. Hey, I've got Duncan coming behind. Maybe AD's yelling that out. I don't know. But it seems pretty clear to me AD has the trailer, which means Dalton has to be here. And he just doubles the ball. And AD is looking at it like, what's going on? Duncan's got the look like what's going on. Or Dalton, I'm sorry. Connect has that look. Little flare action there. Bam here for Hero to come around. They decide to soft switch it. And then Dalton just gets obliterated on a screen. Just gets wrecked. And nobody here between these two is quick enough to react and say, with Rui, hey, I'm coming up. Switch, which is really probably what you have to do here. They're a second late communicating this. And to me, for a 40% three-point shooter, one of the best three-point shooters in the last 30 years or whatever, that's an open three. And Dalton needs to not get drilled on the screen. This play is one of the most egregious. I think it is actually the most egregious defensive play I've seen from a team this year. I actually think it's truly the thing that has frustrated me more than any defensive play I have watched in the NBA this season. Okay. So quick little ghost connect, or Robinson's going to come through the play. I have no idea where Rui's going. I have no idea where Rui's going here. Honestly, it looks like he thinks they're supposed to be in zone. That's kind of my guess. I don't know. But LeBron should be here tagging. LeBron should be moving. He should do something. Just like, don't stand there. I'm genuinely just not. This isn't on LeBron. This is totally on Rui. I have no idea what Rui is doing here. I don't think Rui knows what Rui is doing here, in all honesty. I think he just got lost in the play and, whatever. But I mean, this is bad, guys. Like, this is just a complete lack of effort to me. Like, Duncan just stands there for a second. He can't believe his luck. He's like kind of stunned. I think he's assuming, oh shit, yeah, LeBron's going to rotate over. I need to not take this shot. But like, even with LeBron standing here, even if you want AD to rotate down, right? Maybe that's what you want defensively. It's not, but like, maybe that's what the Lakers prefer. It's not, but like, let's say that it was. He's still just standing here while his guy has relocated to the wing. He has two options where he could go send this ball on a swing. He could go to Haywood or he could go to Hero. Obviously, he went to Hero because Hero's a 40% three-point shooter, but like, I mean, good on Rui, at least like coming out for the effort, but just that is such a substantial breakdown that it like points to bigger issues in terms of communication to me. That's the kind of stuff that just can't happen. It just can't. So Bam here, and we're just like full scale in just no idea what's going on. So I put this one here. I put the early part of this play here to try and get a read on who is guarding who. I believe that LeBron is on Jimmy Butler, and I believe Rui is on Hero based off of this positioning, right? So Bam here, you get this screen from Duncan. Jimmy is going to cut. The way the Lakers have been defending this entire game, at least since the second quarter, is that they've been switching. So why are both Christie and Rui going toward Jimmy here? B, It looks like this is a called switch here, where Jimmy says, I'm going to take hero on this exchange. This is like the softest switch I think I've ever seen in my life, but whatever. That's the way that I am reading this, given that LeBron does not move here. Which means to me, LeBron is responsible for hero here. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not reading this right. But I think that's the way that they set that up to be played. I think you've got LeBron here. You've got Rui here. Now, what I will say is that LeBron points up this way. It's very possible that he's saying, Rui, stay up high. LeBron's a basketball genius. He's literally played for Eric Spoelstra for years. It is very possible that like he just knows this set. But he doesn't really react with frustration while it's happening either. I'm willing to say that this could be on Rui or it could be on LeBron. In fact, it's basically on both, if we're being honest. Why Rui tries to fight through this screen, I don't know, given the way that they've played defensively. Maybe for this one possession, they decided to do something different. But that doesn't really make sense to me. And then Rui just kind of stands there. LeBron just kind of stands there. One of these two needs to be on hero. And it depends on what that initial communication from LeBron was at the jump. I'll hear it out either way. Like, if you want to say, hey, LeBron saying, hey, Rui, stay high, because he knew the set, because he played for Eric Spoelstra, I'll listen to that. Rui is 100% at fault here. Also, though, like, I would just kind of like to assume that LeBron sees Rui dive toward this way, that he might try and get up and shoot through this and get to hero, but I don't know. Maybe not. My read is Rui's more at fault there than LeBron, but I would like to know what was said before I know for sure. Now we are in, is this possession they flipped to zone? No, not yet. They are not in zone. No, this is just like a full scale AD getting beat off the bounce by Duncan Robinson moment, where we know that we've got some issues if that's the case. So early screen, again, to the point on the last possession, we're just soft switching. And AD is now on Duncan Robinson. They swing it. AD closes out. To me, I don't love AD giving up a paint touch to Duncan Robinson. But what I will say is that this is AD who has an immense amount of length to be able to try and contest this shot on Duncan still if he has to. I don't think that Max Christie should be helping this far in. I just don't. I think this is a Max Christie breakdown, and it leads to a wide open kick out for an easy three-pointer from a dude who is on fire now. He's made like 4 threes in a row. This one, transition play. D'Angelo Russell pointing at the official who's down here because he's frustrated that he didn't get a call on a strip. Just kind of jogs back. Like you can see, like there's no effort here from D'Angelo to get back in this play. Never tries to pick anybody up. You can say that he's taking the trailer with Bam there. Sure. Sounds good. But the problem is that when that's the case and AD is coming from this direction, LeBron has to take the ball. It's just too easy to hit that little DHL. Teams just always have numbers against the Lakers. This is when they finally get to zone. Highsmith just with like the world's easiest layup here. So what happens here? We're in zone. You can see Jimmy point there. He says to Bam, hey, just get in this little pocket. You can see AD calling out, hey, Highsmith is here. Jimmy has picked up the ball. That is a key part of this. Max Christie, you're fine if Jimmy takes this shot. Jimmy can't like consistently make threes from this deep. That's not in his game. You're comfortable with Max Christie going to close out here onto Hero. AD is calling out, hey, Highsmith in the corner right here. LeBron has to be further back here. He can't be this high. And maybe that's just LeBron like trusting tools that aren't quite there anymore speed-wise, right? Maybe he just thinks I can get back and close this distance, but he can't anymore. Here, just again, we're just giving up easy dribble penetration. And then this one is just like nowhere near good enough communication on this screen. Okay, if we're switching, AD needs to be out. If we're not, Christie needs to be out. You can't give the guy who's made like 6 threes already this much space. You can't do it. This one, we're swinging. This one's on Christie, not helping the helper here. Actually do a pretty good job up until this moment. Vincent closes out. Armel Traore helps. AD responsible there. You could say AD has to help the helper here. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know exactly what their rules are here, but AD is kind of sealed here. One of these two, and maybe it's AD just continuing to fight, and then you peel switch Christie onto Highsmith over there. But one of those two has to go. I mean, again, just egregious transition defense, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, and the ball. It is unacceptable for Terry Rozier to get behind. There is no excuse. No excuse for that to happen. And then this is the last one. I stopped just pulling clips. I could have forever, I feel like. What happens here? A. To me, we are in man-to-man here because D'Angelo Russell follows his man. So that's the first point. B. Kevin Love on to Christie. Why does LeBron sag in here? LeBron sags in because Rozier has beaten D'Angelo Russell on a cut here. If LeBron's not here, that is a pretty easy layup for Rozier. That one to me comes down to Russell getting beaten. It's just kind of everywhere. And that's the point I want to make. It's everywhere for the Lakers right now. It's not just one place. I said I would talk about who is most at fault here. To me, coaching, if you want to talk about coaching, I'm comfortable with that because well-coached teams don't have communication breakdowns like this. Well-coached defensive teams. I've talked a lot about how I like the sets that JJ Redick runs. I think they've been a little bit less intentional over the last maybe 6 or 7 games in terms of some of the ways that they get spacing. But undeniably, I think I am comfortable saying at this point, not to say this can't change in the future, at this point, this is not a well-coached basketball team. Not a well-coached defensive basketball team, I should say. Not a well-coached defensive team. Because the communication is a serious issue across the board. And good teams do not have this many communication issues defensively. But much to JJ Redick's point, it also comes from accountability on the court. You have to be willing to talk defensively. I've always thought that Rui is a pretty bad off-ball defender. And you see that in all of these clips. Max Christie is 21 years old. D'Angelo Russell is a guy that there are certain defensive ecosystems where he can work. I think he's actually okay as a low man, communicator, calling out coverages from time to time, but he's really bad at the point of attack. And I think that when he's chasing guys, he does not do a great job fighting through screens. Connect is just really bad on defense right now. There's not really I don't think there's really anything Dalton does well on defense right now, if I'm being honest. That's a whole other issue. This game had no Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves typically at least knows where to go, which is useful, but Reeves has his own point of attack issues. Gabe Vincent fights and knows where to go. He's just smaller. And then LeBron is just, effort isn't always there with him. There are a lot of effort-based breakdowns with LeBron. So we can look at the coaching, and AD's getting beaten off the bounce. And oh, by the way, scheme-wise, they're switching everything at times, and they're having AD get beaten off the bounce because AD, on a night-to-night basis in the NBA. And look, this was third game in 4 nights, but they did have an off day before this one. On the road, it's possible they were tired. I will accept that. But if you're going to do that, you have to play more conservatively on defense and switch everything as well. So that also kind of comes back to coaching. But again, I'm at the point now with the Lakers too, where a lot of these issues are year over year. I didn't think Darvin Ham was a very good coach. I felt like his offense, I didn't think he had the defensive structures or really the offensive structures. I think JJ Redick, by and large, at least has the offensive structures. It's just sometimes the intentionality has been hit or miss. To me, the players do have to take some accountability here. And I am typically Mr. hey, I'll give the players some benefit of the doubt. I will accept a lot of different things. I will try to find the context behind why certain things happen. But to me, this is on the players. And it's on the coaching staff. And it's on everybody involved there right now. You can't have this many breakdowns in a single game. And I have multiple videos this year talking about the Lakers defense breaking down. This isn't a one game thing. This was the most egregious game, but this isn't a one game thing. So yeah, this was a frustrating game. This was a game where I had to go live and talk about it because it was an immensely annoying basketball game to watch. I think that's about all I've got here. Bryce and I will go live tomorrow. We'll talk through a number of different things that we saw tonight. Talk through some NBA draft stuff. We're going to take NBA draft questions. Go there live. Watch the video. We'll go live probably around 4:30 Eastern time. Link isn't up yet. We'll get the link up at some point tomorrow. But that'll be coming tomorrow. So if you have NBA draft questions, come hang out. Come ask questions. We'll have a good time. That'll be the second half of the episode tomorrow. We'll probably take questions for 40 minutes or so. But that's all we got tonight. We're not doing ads. This was bad. This is a disgusting basketball game to break down by and large. But that's all we got. Until next time, we'll talk soon.